As a veterinary technician, I have to help euthanize and euthanize animals on a daily basis. It's not something I enjoy doing, but it is a big part of the job. Due to a lot of the issues that animals have, and due to a lot of the different treatment options that most owners can't afford, and the fact that we still are, we can't afford to do MRIs and big things on these animals. We have to opt for euthanasia a lot of the time. Now, it's not a very great part and a very bright part of veterinary medicine, but it is a large part of it. And a lot of the issues that are surrounding euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide for people can be related to the issues that are involved with animals. And a lot of veterinarians don't want to euthanize animals anymore because of the inhumane nature that it is. That follows with it. But physician-assisted suicide and euthanasia has been spoken about through a lot of different plans. It has been suggested in a lot of different states and nations, and it is becoming an option that a lot of doctors and a lot of people are all wanting to opt into. Now, today we'll be talking about why euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide should not be allowed in any state or any country through three major points. One, it violates the Hippocratic Oath. 2, it creates a pressure to die, and 3, it's a slippery slope in which we can no longer define the term suffering. First, in order to understand euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, we need to understand the oath that doctors take whenever they do become doctors. Now, according to the Hippocratic Oath, doctors can't administer deadly medicine, and they can't suggest any such counsel. Now, according to John Pearson's article on the Points of View Reference Center, posted in 2015, the American Medical Association's policy is as follows. Physician-assisted suicide is fundamentally incompatible with the physician's role as a healer, and would be difficult or impossible to control and could pose serious societal risks. Now, because the American Medical Association blatantly comes out and says we don't support euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide in any form, and the Hippocratic Oath also states that that doctors should not assume that role as to euthanize or help with physician-assisted suicide. These doctors shouldn't play that role because they're primarily healers and are there to help people get better. And though some people could say that people have the right to die, which is also very true, the slippery slope that we'll be talking about later creates a scenario and a culture in which death is acceptable and death is something that people push towards instead of trying to find the happiness in life and trying to promote life and preserve life. So secondly, we'll be talking about the pressure to die. Now, in today's society, we have a large culture surrounded by death. Video games, movies, TV shows, it's all surrounding the idea of death, violence, things like that. How much that pushes into your life and how much that contributes to who we are as a society is up for debate. However, this culture of death does exist. With euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, we create a society in which if someone wants something, all they have to do is make somebody feel like they don't matter, make somebody feel like their life is not worth living, and make somebody feel like they have no reason to live at all. And then they will off themselves by euthanizing themselves or physician-assisted suicide. So we'll talk more about how this directly correlates in the last point, which is most important. But this creates a society in which eugenics and genocide are ripe for the picking. So anyone can go out and just euthanize themselves or get pills or have pills prescribed in order to end their lives, which is wrong. And a lot of these people, especially depressed people, don't need to end their lives in order to make their lives better. They just need the help that is out there for them. There's plenty of medication, plenty of programs, plenty of systems and organizations that can help these people. And we don't want these people who do feel depressed or do feel like they are a burden on others to even more so feel like they're a burden on others or have others pressure them into killing themselves for their money or for their possessions. And specifically, according to the article, Euthanasia Devalues Human Life and Limits Individual Freedom by the Green Press on Gale, Opposing Viewpoints in 2015, those who choose to live may then be seen as selfish or irrational, as a needless burden on others, and even be encouraged to view themselves that way. So this further promotes the idea that these people should just kill themselves to begin with instead of seeking the help that they so dearly need. And finally, most importantly, euthanasia creates a slippery slope in which we can no longer define what suffering is. Now, suffering is undefinable for most people anyways. But according to Charles Lane, in the article "Euthanasia: Slippery Slope on SIRS" in 2015, Loya Feinpoint, psychiatrist at a clinic in Belgium which has legalized euthanasia, that acknowledges that the concept of unbearable suffering has not been defined adequately and that there are no guidelines for the management of euthanasia requests on grounds of mental suffering. So anyone in Belgium can pretty much end their lives because they no longer feel like living. And according to Lane, situations as such have happened. So because euthanasia is something that is so hard to define and so hard to pinpoint what exactly causes suffering, we can't allow people to end their lives because they no longer feel like living. There are options out there, and though euthanasia for animals may be a good thing, and for some people, killing themselves or euthanasia might be an option for terminally ill patients, but it is not an option for everyone. So thank you.
Did you make the time?
Yes, ma'am.
We're still recording.